Most people who are dealing with homelessness are dealing it in a different way. A lot of people get into homelessness and stay in homelessness because it's easier for them to play. In my lifetime, I had no desire ever to be homeless, but I got hit in a downturn of my life when I lost my wife. After I lost my wife, I was underperforming, which would be natural to anyone who is grieving. And openly, we've got a lot of people who live around our life who might be pet peeving, so they attack us in identity theft, in fraud, in cybercrime, and in police brutality, and sort of employee misconduct situations that harm our life. What I can tell you is to get yourself into the streets is not easy because so many people are so offended by visibly seeing homeless. It can be really difficult and you can feel depleted. But the reality is that a human life is not to be deleted. What I can tell you about staying healthy in homelessness is to always be looking at what can and can't I eat. There's certain foods that are served cold that some people can eat without a problem, such as a vegetable soup, but for a guy like me who has reflux, I cannot eat a cold vegetable soup. I usually encourage people, if they're trying to do something loving and kind and they don't want to give somebody any type of dollars to go off and use with their own mind, that they should produce a can of protein for someone and a can of tea, because the person needs to have water for hydration of their cellular health to keep their mind functioning, but they also need to have a lot of protein. And protein in a can is usually some sort of pulled pork that you can buy from Walmart, or canned chicken that is available sort of in bulk. In other words, 2 or 3 cans at a time is a nice way to go without being a jerk. And what I can say to you is that there are some foods that you can buy for people that is already really well sealed, but most people have their own interests, their own preferences, their own intolerances that make them sort of have their interest in with a zeal. Now, if I sound like I'm doing a lot of rhyming, I'm not trying to waste your timing, but what I'm saying to you, if you really want to know how we eat, a guy like me who's been at this a while and still trying to fight for a job every once in a while, not almost every single day, in terms of putting my portfolio online in every way, despite the fact that cybercrime and identity theft and fraud is still going on in my life, and that every time I get on my computer, somebody's trying to delete the things that I'm downloading from my past portfolios so that I have sort of a history of my abilities. But what I can say to you is what I do is I cook things in my skillet, and I'm lucky and fortunate to be able to do that when there's some free available electricity. Now, I have a big proponent of these people doing more conservative use of electricity, but for companies who are using electricity at night to light their entire stores, wasting our valuable resources, I sort of feel a little bit of plight. But what I do feel is that the companies that are kind to me are the ones that say, we don't mind you cooking for 5 minutes here and there each day so that you can eat, and that's a loving kindness. So I'm going to show you, as I make a quick circle around in my tent, that I have a little skillet here, and I am actually technically cooking. Hopefully you can see it okay. It's hard to handle a computer this way. A little pizza for me, and the value of pizza is the level of protein, and the value you can see is it's a little personal pan. I usually eat 2 because I am, after all, a man, but it also holds me over for a good portion of the day.